Hello, everybody, and welcome. So, I want you to imagine that you're in the grocery store, you have your cart full of food, you get to the register to pay, and then realize your wallet is in the car. And what are you going to do? Are you going to ask someone to watch your buggy and leave your stuff alone? Or are you going to quietly go put everything back in the store? What are you going to do? Are you going to call a friend? Hey, my stuff is in the car. Can you bring it in to me? Or your spouse? I mean, what are you going to do, right? Who are you going to ask for help, or are you not going to ask anyone for help? That's the big question today. We're talking about asking for help and what are the barriers that we might experience that inhibit us and limit us from wanting to ask for help or having that feeling that we can, that we're allowed to do that. We give ourselves permission. So I'm wanting to get you to think a little bit deeper about why you don't want to ask for help sometimes. And not just on the surface level. People might think I'm weak. I think that's a pretty common answer. But why do you have that belief? Why do you have that assumption? That's what we're going to explore today. My name is Michelle Cox, and I am a life coach in East Texas. And I'm also the CEO of the Changemakers Women's Resilience Group. I want you to think about the deepest level of all of your thinking and believing. It's actually far more important than you might realize. The culture that you were raised in your home is powerfully foundational and kind of sends off a ripple effect into your life. Even now, maybe you're like me in your mid to late 40s. And the culture of your home that you were raised in can have profound influence on whether you are going to ask for help or not. And the feelings and emotions that you might have surrounding that moment of need and how you are going to deal with it. So I want you to think back to your own childhood and the people who cared for you, who took care of you and raised you. What did you observe with them? Were they the type that would quickly call someone and say, I need help right now. Can you come, and I have this issue and this problem, and come fix it for me? Is that something that you observed? Or did you see a situation more likely to be handled where the caregiver in your home was likely to say, we'll find a way, but we are not asking for help? And was it something that was explicitly said? We will not ask for help. We don't ask for help. That's not what we do. Or was it more implicit? Just that grind of trying to figure it out, trying to fix the broken sink, and just letting the flood happen, and just not at all willing or even believing to be capable of picking up the phone and asking someone to come help. So there's different ways, and there are more different scenarios. Like, I could think of lots, right? But kind of getting these extremes on this pendulum or this continuum. You might have had a culture of, we ask for help right away, or and expect someone else to fix the problems. Or were you on the other end of the continuum where you just never asked for help, no matter how bad things were? You never told anybody that things were bad. Or were you somewhere in the middle in your family? That, yeah, you asked for help sometimes. You tried to fix it as best as you could. And then when things were obviously outside of your skill set, then you called someone and asked for help. And it might be a friend, or it might be the professional, get the plumber over. And what are the factors maybe that created that culture in your home? I think a lot of times finances could be an issue, like literally not feeling like you can call a plumber. You've got to figure it out on your own. Or could it have been other issues of just a continued learned behavior pattern that generation after generation? In this family, this is our last name. In this family, we don't do that. The definition in the last name dictionary is that we don't ask for help. We figure it out on our own, or we just suffer through it, or forget it, pretend like it's not there. So there are different nuances that can play into whether we're willing to ask for help and whether we feel like we're allowed to. I really appreciate that I grew up in a home where I was kind of in the middle. I saw my parents trying to be very proactive and take care of things, and were very hardworking and busy, and trying to take care of everything as best they could, but they also did ask for help. I also saw them giving a lot of help. So I saw a lot of service, a lot of taking meals and caring for other people's children and providing rides and all the things that they could do. They were very quick to help. And I really appreciate that. So I feel like I was blessed with that kind of balanced culture. And so for me, it's been a little bit easier for me as I grow up, raising my own family. I'm a mother of six, been married for 23 years, and there have been many opportunities to ask for help. And there have been many times where I don't. And I just figure it out, work through it. If it's going to make things a little chaotic for me, I still might just go do it, right? And take care of it. But I also have learned that there is a real value in letting someone into my life and to step in and help. And why do we do that? Why do we allow people to come in and help and be a part of that? And if this is something that you tend to struggle with, asking for help, letting people in, maybe letting them see your vulnerability, showing that you have weakness of some degree. Not that means you're a weak person, but you have weaknesses, that you can't do it all. You can't fix all the problems all the time. Guess what? You're human. 100%. Good job. So I want you to think about what are those underlying beliefs that then do help you to open up and let someone in. I think that if you have had that experience of someone who allows you to help them, and you have a positive experience where you feel love for them, you feel compassion, maybe they expressed gratitude, and it was just a mutually beneficial emotional experience. And that probably helped to train you and set a tone within your nervous system and your brain to believe that helping is good. Receiving help is also good, because now they are going to feel that good feeling of, I helped someone. If I allow someone to help me, I'm opening up that possibility for them to have that rewarding moment of stepping in and fulfilling a need someone had, and being compassionate and experiencing the resolution of a problem. It's very fulfilling and satisfying. So I've come to see that if I allow someone to help me, it's not me taking something from them, taking their time, taking their energy. I'm actually opening up an opportunity for them to receive that good feeling and that connection and that feeling of resolve. Something has been taken care of, and it's very satisfying on both ends. It can be, right? So I want to demonstrate on the model today what our thoughts and beliefs can be about receiving help from other people. Because I think that there is a danger in disconnection when, first of all, we never ask for help and we don't give help. So two ways that things are kind of breaking down potentially in our communities. If no one's asking for help, no one's going to get help. And there might be some cases where like other people's help is actually very vital in that situation. And we need to be able to connect and get out of our comfort zones and be there for people and build these connections and build these relationships and build a feeling of kindness and overall safety in our communities. So this is really actually very important. Allowing someone in can help build that feeling of a safe community, because your nervous system will literally feel safe when you're allowing people into your vulnerability and receiving assistance from them. And especially when there are no strings attached. And we can talk about boundaries and people taking advantage of you. That can be other episodes. But today I want to talk about like just this mutual, just goodwill of helping one another. And so first we're going to look at the model in the sense of, being in the culture and the mindset of we never ask for help. This is a sign of weakness. This is like breaking the 11th commandment and redefining the family last name, right? Okay, so I'm going to show you on this model. This is a cognitive behavioral model, And I'm not going to give you a scenario. I'm just going to give you just a look at the belief about receiving help and asking for help. So just that concept, okay? So we're going to start with, let's see, get this cap off. All right. So asking for help is going to be here in the cloud. And in the cloud, I always put something that is just a circumstance. It's totally neutral until we give it meaning. And our thoughts give it meaning. And our beliefs that we're carrying and operating from also give it meaning. But really, because so many different people can have so many different opinions and so many different reactions, we can see there's not only one prescribed way to feel or think about something. There are 10 people in a room, there are 10 different experiences. Therefore, the circumstance is unattached. It is neutral. And you get to decide if you like to stay in that kind of paradigm that you have, or if it's not really serving you. It's limiting you, it's causing you discomfort that's unnecessary, and maybe you need a more balanced view and perspective and mindset. That's why I'm a mindset coach, because I believe that our mindset is the operating system and it fuels and impacts all the other parts of your life and the way you act and show up and your relationships and all the things. So when we look at this cloud up here, the circumstance cloud, asking for help, it's just a thing. Some people do it. It's a behavior, I should say. It's not an actual thing, but it's a behavior. People do it. People don't do it. Okay, but it's just there, right? It's a possibility. So if the thought about it is, I am weak if I ask for help. Let's look at that. I am weak if I ask for help. And notice that the emphasis here is about yourself. The focus is on you, that you are weak, and less about the experience itself, whether that is right or wrong. But there's like, that's where the core pain can often reside, when a behavior and a belief about it somehow says something negatively about ourselves. It creates a feeling of, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, something's wrong with me. Okay, so that's where I think the deepest pain is when anything is turned to make some sort of meaning out of ourselves and define ourselves in a harsh way. So I am weak if I ask for help. That's the thought or belief. So how am I likely to feel in my body when I have that thought, I am weak if I ask for help? So definitely feel hesitant, right? Ooh, I don't think I should ask. I shouldn't. You probably feel discouraged. Well, how am I going to do this if I don't know how? The situation is really complicated. It's really hard. How am I supposed to do this? But I can't ask for help, right? So you might also feel fear. What do I do if I can't solve this problem on my own? This could persist forever or get worse, right? So you can see how that becomes very impactful for the physical experience. And I always like to help people understand that emotions are not just this like vapor that's out there in the air and you might breathe it in. Your emotions are physical. They're real. It's a real physical experience because it is chemical releases from your brain and sending signals into your body that makes your muscles tighten up or relax, your digestion to have troubles, your eyes to tighten or widen, your tone of voice to change, your saliva in your mouth is going to increase or decrease, your heart rate, your lungs, all of it is going to be impacted by the thinking and believing in your brain. And how your brain is responding and saying, is this a threat or is this okay? Am I in danger or am I safe? And it's a physical experience combination of things that we then say, this is anxiety, this is fear, this is happiness, this is relief, this is joy, this is determination, right? So all these pieces put together, where we just kind of say, oh yeah, this kind of combination of physical experiences, that's the emotion. We have a name for it. And we might feel things a little bit differently, but as human beings, we do have a general sense of what fear is like and what it means and what it does to us, and then how it fuels us, right? Okay, so if I'm thinking about asking for help and I say, but I can't, I'm weak if I ask for help, I feel like I have to hesitate. I feel discouraged or fearful. What's going to happen then if I can't fix this myself? What to do? Okay, so there could be a lot of these things. And then coming over here into our action, when you're having those feelings, you're much more likely to maybe withdraw from others so they don't see that you need help. Might need to hide your need for help. Okay, and then what's the result? If you're not asking for help, the result is you don't get help. It doesn't happen, or unless someone really comes in and takes over, right? But if you are staying in this scenario of not asking for help, not letting anyone know that you need help, you don't get help. And maybe the problem can worsen. Or maybe you find a way to resolve, but with difficulty. Okay. And I'm not going to say that not asking for help is always wrong at all. Because I think that when we don't rely on other people, at times it's good for us. Then we do become curious about what I could do. You do become a problem solver. You do cultivate this sense of inner strength and capacity and learn and develop new skills and find something out and become resourceful. And those are all really, really good traits. But if it's all the time and you never ask for help, and you might find yourself suffering or struggling under burdens longer and with more difficulty than necessary. And I think the other thing I want to point out again is that you might be hiding your need for help from other people, so you're creating a distance between yourself and other people who do care about you and who would respond to you and would step in if they knew and if they were allowed to. So I'm going to add that here, because that is another result. So maybe there's further disconnection. Okay. Now, as I was saying before, whatever's in the cloud, really, truly, it is neutral until you give it meaning by what you think and believe about it. So we're going to look now at how this whole cycle can change, because if you come through this cycle like this, I'm weak if I ask for help, you feel hesitant, you feel discouraged, maybe you feel fear or shame. Let's add some shame on there, because sometimes we feel shame if we have to ask for help, because it's against this internal belief, whether it's right or wrong, I shouldn't ask for help. So then when I do, that's a shameful thing. So that's a real concern when we live with shame, and that's the motivating factor. Because you could decide to not get help out of a feeling of determination that I'm going to figure it out, and I believe in myself, and I know if I watch enough YouTube videos and I get the right tools and I, get the right skills figured out through these videos on YouTube. I love YouTube. Thank you. We've fixed many things because of YouTube. That's great, right? Because then you just build yourself up and you build that self-belief, and that self-trust can increase. But if you're operating in this system right here, that asking for help is weak, and it makes me a lesser person, then you're limiting your perspective on yourself. And like I said, you're lessening your connection with others through that give and take of giving and receiving help. Okay, so now let's erase the board except for the circumstance cloud, because that does not need to change in order for our experience to change. So let's take a look at why and how that is, because I find this fascinating. This is one of my favorite things to do. Okay, so if instead of thinking like we were thinking before, I'm weak if I ask for help, sometimes choosing a new thought in a mindset shift in this work that I do is the hardest part. Coming up with a new thought, a new belief that you can't come up with because it's so outside of your realm that you've been in your whole life. Okay, so that might not be the best place to start. Where do you want to start? Because it's a circle, you can start anywhere. You could start with your emotions. How would you rather feel about this reality that sometimes we need to ask for help, that asking for help is a thing? What do we do? So we could change how we want to feel about it. We could change how we behave. Think about that first, like what I'd rather do, or look at the result that you want. So for fun, I'm just going to pick, how about we start with our action? So if our action is going to be different, instead of hiding our needs and withdrawing from people, what if in maybe a more resilient and supporting system, let's think that sometimes I ask for help. Oops. And maybe that's after I've tried on my own first. Doesn't that sound pretty balanced? Like, I'm going to try first, can't quite figure it out. There's someone out there who knows, and they're going to help me save time and money and maybe some heartache and some pain. Okay, so sometimes I ask for help, but usually I'm always going to try to figure it out first. I'm going to try something new. I'm going to see if this way would work, or this way, or do a little bit of experimentation. So what kind of emotion would help me to think, or to go forward and ask for help sometimes after working on it myself? Um, some emotions you might feel, because your emotions are kind of creating that set of what, the catalyst for what your behavior is going to be. So the feelings that you have in your body either kind of lift you up, or they might close you down, shut you down. So some emotions that would be like positive, supporting belief or supporting emotions that then fuel this action of, I do ask for help sometimes, but I do try to figure it out on my own first. So if that's the operating action, what's the operating emotion? And it might be some sort of resolve. I'm going to try. So you might be curious about different possible solutions. You might get creative and try different things, right? You might feel determined that this problem is going to get solved either by my own efforts or with someone else as my teammate. And you might feel some relief. I don't have to do this all on my own. That's a big relief. So let's put that there. There could be some relief. And it's possible to feel a lot of emotions. And you might even feel a little bit embarrassed that you have to ask for help. But it doesn't become like a big speed bump that you just hit that thing and then just crash and burn, right? So there could be a little embarrassment. That's fine. We want to be, oh my, I'm never good at spelling embarrassment, but I'm really not embarrassed about it. I just don't care. So there could be a mix of some other emotions, but they're not the ones that are taking over and then sabotaging your progress, right? So, yes, we're human beings. We're going to have a mix of emotions. So, I'm going to allow for that. I think this is totally normal. So, now we can go backwards a little bit more. What would the thought about asking for help be that allows you to feel some resolve? This is going to work out. I just need a little help. I'm going to get curious and be creative. I'm going to try different things. I'm going to be determined about it. I feel relieved that, okay, I can ask for help. I've tried this, right? So what would my thought be? It can be my favorite phrase in the whole world almost. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay to ask for help. I'm going to try on my own first. But I can ask. It's okay. I mean, really, this is one of my favorite things that we can possibly give ourselves. It's okay. I don't have to have it all. I don't have to figure it all out. I don't have to have it look like I've got all the balls juggling and I'm handling it just fine and not even breaking a sweat. No, I am inside like dying. It's okay. It's okay to let people know that I'm overwhelmed. I need to have a limit. I have a boundary. I can help you. I can do this, but I can't do that. I need help here. I can do this much by myself, but at this point, I do need some help. Or maybe I should ask for a little more help and then take off a little more of the load and, bring more people into my circle. So if you come from this position, it's okay. It's okay to ask for help. I'm going to try. It's not working out so well. I'm kind of hitting roadblocks, but I can ask. It's going to be okay. Oh, so I feel relieved. I feel determined at the same time. I'm going to try. Maybe feel a little awkward, embarrassed to ask, but knowing that when someone approaches me and asks for help, I want to help them. I really do. And there might have to be some limitations and boundaries, of course, but overall, I want people to move through a problem and not be stuck with it and suffering. Of course not. So I believe that about other people, thinking about me as well. And that's where my self-worth comes in. I do believe that other people see value in me because I see value in me and I see value in them. And I believe they should feel value about themselves too. So they should be fine with sometimes they need help and I'm happy to give it. It's going to be okay. So it's okay. All of this comes around. Sometimes I ask for help after I've tried on my own. What's the result? Now the problem can get resolved, right? Or progress can be made towards resolving it. Problem resolved. Or progress at least, right? And when we involve other people and bring them in on our team, we now are building connection. We're building closeness. We're building community. Okay. So then when you come to this point, then you begin to believe again. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay. I give help. I can ask for it too sometimes. It's okay. So the other thing I want you to go back to the beginning a little bit and think about the culture that you had in your family. Did you sometimes feel like you couldn't ask for help or start to believe I shouldn't ask for help because of how adults in your life responded to your requests for help? And children can have all kinds of requests. They can ask for a bedtime story. They can ask for help pouring the milk or tying their shoes or finding their favorite stuffed animal they can't sleep without. I still love that stuffed animal, but anyways, my son. Um, so what was the response you were getting when you were a child and you were asking for help? If you were asking for 50 cents to go buy a candy or, asking for literal help. If you were in a culture, in a family dynamic where an adult would frequently be upset with you, you asked for help and then they were mad at you. and you didn't understand why. It was you felt. It was you asking for help that was the problem. And I want to say it was not you. Your caregiver was experiencing a moment of dysregulation, probably. If it was a reasonable request and you just needed a little help with something, tying your shoes, finding your backpack, things like that. If your caregiver responded out of anger, it was because their nervous system was triggered. And possibly it was more a frustration of a time delay. We're going to be late. We got to get out the door. We're going to get it tardy. And then it's going to reflect on me as a parent. And then I'm going to be late for work. So there's a lot of things that can go into it. Your parent or caregiver was having a response to your request that was their responsibility. They own their response. So if they became angry with you when you asked for help about something, it wasn't you. They were already triggered about something or had underlying needs and worries and concerns, and it just came out on you because you walked into the crosshairs, right? When they're already activated, already stressed and worried about something. And so if that was like a consistent response and you just kind of learn to shut down and not ask for help, that is a painful thing. That is a painful system to live within. You can't ask for help because if I do, I'm going to get yelled at. I can't ask for help because I'll be criticized. Well, how come you don't know where it is? You should know where it is. If there's that kind of shaming and blaming talk, that likely influenced and impacted you to believe and have that subconscious belief that I shouldn't ask for help. It's not safe to ask for help. So now you're an adult. Time to look now to the generation after you. If you have children, if you're a parent and you have children, start to notice the way that you respond to your children. We literally can be very tired. We can be worn out and exhausted at the end of a long, busy day and have heavy worries and concerns and burdens. And I know from experience how easy it is when I'm in that very vulnerable, like depleted state to get snippy or snappy when my children are asking simple, small requests. Can you cut up the apple for me? And like, just take bites. Do I have to get up and cut it into 8 wedges with the core and the seeds pulled out? Or can you just bite it? Bite into the apple and eat it. So my thinking, if I'm focusing on if I'm living in my own dysregulation where I'm just tired and now I'm going to look at their small request as a big thing and I give them a big response, that's dysregulation, and be upset about it. But you can notice it, and take that calm breathing approach that I so believe in, because that calm breathing helps to relax your muscles, relax your body, and turn on that safety signal, turn off the fight and flight, and open you up to being compassionate to your child and say, okay, really, this is only going to take me about 3 minutes. That's the reality of it. I can stand up, literally, go into the kitchen and cut that apple into 8 wedges and put it in a bowl for them. It's not a big deal. So when you're able to regulate yourself, you can look at the request in a healthier way, in a way that then you say, my result that I want when my child asks me for help is I want them to believe that asking for help means I get to be closer to the people I care about the most. Open yourself to your child. And I'm talking to myself as well, because I do get tired, I get frustrated, I want them to be in bed so I can go to bed. And that's like, I'm in survival mode when I'm doing that, right? So I am learning to train myself to take that deep breath, calm it down, think about what is the result I really want more. Is it for me to have more sleep, or is it for me to have a good relationship with my child and for my child to feel safe in our home, to grow up in a culture where they are allowed to make requests and they're not going to be shamed and blamed for it. That's my result that I want. More. And in the moment, when I'm weak and vulnerable and tired, it's hard to remember that. But the more we talk about it while we're not activated. So I hope right now, while you're listening and watching this, you're not already activated. Calm yourself down. Now is the time to really decide and put it in your mind. It is okay for my child to make requests. I want my child to know that the world is a safe place, that there are good people that they can turn to when they need help. I never want them to feel like they are totally isolated and nobody cares. So if I'm going to be willing to offer help to my child, I want to create a system and a culture where asking for help is good. It's okay. It's appropriate. And sometimes the answer might be, I'm sorry, but I think you need to figure this out. Someone might say that to you, and that might be kind of painful. But then you can go back and say, well, okay, what can I do then? What can I do on my own? What am I capable of? I bet I can find out so much more about myself by trying first, trying again, trying a new way. Okay, so I want you to consider that. Consider how the relationship you have with yourself, with the concept, the actual need to ask for help. See how that can become more balanced. See how you can help your children to be trained and nurtured into a system where asking for help is okay. It's okay. And yes, parents, yes, you can say, this is for you to take care of. I love it when I'm out and about and my kids get something, at a party or a church or whatever. They're given toys or handouts or whatever, and they're like, here, hold my trash, hold my wrappers. I'm like, no, you go find the trash can. I'm not going to stand here holding your stuff and your wrappers and the packaging, whatever. You can figure that out. So there's balance to be had. We want to be careful that we're not out of balance in one direction or another. But that's the offer that I have for you today, is thinking about letting other people help. See how that's influencing you, influencing the way that you raise your children, how you respond to your spouse, and look for how you can make a more harmonious community within your home and outside. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope that you have a wonderful week. See you next week.